Um, so to figure this part out. How's it going? Maybe people start to hop on here. How is everybody? Jump around. Just calling out bad customers by name here. Hopefully y'all didn't say anything. Just kidding. About another minute or so, we'll get going. Names, I'm taking names. I'm writing a book. All of y'all are in it. All of y'all are in the book. All your dirty secrets and bad habits. Yeah, we had hoodies there for a hot minute. It's just too bulky and whatever. However, we're making some major changes with the storefront of Orbit and Orbit. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. You like that? It's a nice hoodie. Oh, Rob, you definitely get a chapter. Yeah. Okay, it's 3 o'clock, so let's go going here. Hey, it's Mark from Orbit. How are you doing today? Sorry about the, I guess, out of sync live stream this week. Did sort of a quick uh, impromptu trip to Tennessee. Got a couple of elderly parents over there, and both of them have had some health issues here lately, but they're improving, so it's all good. Anyway, we got lots of stuff to talk about today. Lots of stuff, and we'll get started with. Let's move that over. We were trying to have a label sale this month. We're still waiting on the list of products. So in the interim, like I said, we are having lots of physical changes in our spaces, our where we do our work, and we're going to be making some major changes in our storefronts. I actually technically have two storefronts that we connected together. But anyway, we are liquidating books and music. So whatever LPs we have left, whatever books we have left, they're going to be aggressively marked down. It's 20% this weekend until Sunday night, and then it's going to be 30% until the following Thursday, and then 40% for the weekend after that, and then 50%. And by that point, I think by 50%, I might just make that in store only. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what's out of here. And there's some amazing books to be had. I don't know if you've been on a book section or not. Apparently, not enough of you have been. Y'all don't read. I don't read. I like the pictures, lots of colorful pictures and books that we have. Feel free to peruse. Anyway, if you don't know, books do qualify for 3 free. If it, and also I think the music does too. Yeah. So anyway, books count. So liquidating books. We will not be carrying the selection of books that we have in the future. We will still be carrying stuff that we deem an orbit fit, I guess. So anyway, there's a popular one about the pink film, which is they're starting to get more popular as far as the reissues go. That's a good book. We would carry something like that, or the kid killing book. Was it Sweetest Taboo, whatever it's called? Yeah, we definitely would carry something like that. So anyway, books are no longer going to be on our floor, sales floor. So come on by. We're looking online. All right. And then this, hopefully this label will get back to us or back to the distributor, and we will do a sale. It's a great company, and I'm hoping they'll, it's literally a week after the holidays, so I understand a lot of this stuff still sort of topsy turvy out there. So I'm hoping that we'll get that going. Maybe later next week or the week after. All right. Used haul. Well, we are working our way through several humongous collections, very, very large collections of product. Anyway, Ty was so nice to Ty and Danny, I think up there were so nice to almost subdivide them into labels out there, at least ones that have enough product. So I had stacks and stacks and stacks. I had boxes of Kino product. I was going to make about 100 of them live this afternoon, but we got so many restocks in today new that it'd be too much for the staff. So we are instead going to go live with those tomorrow. However, the used haul for today is going to be all Kino product. A lot of what I'm going to make live tomorrow morning is also going to be out of print. I think everything I have here is also out of print. So I'm going to show you here in a minute. So anyway, this part of the live stream is when I show you what you have sent to me. I buy new and used movies and a few other things. We do buy video games through the mail. Keep that in mind, and we'll give you the cash or credit for it. So anyway, let's get going. This is all Kino, all out of print Kino. So let's start off with Mafia. This is the Zucker is actually Abrams, right? Abrahams. Yep. Part of Zaz, right? Yep. Part of Zaz. However, you really need Zaz, right? Mafia, you got a few chuckles out of it. So that's out of print. So is Star Crystal. Star Crystal. There we go. Let's keep the sci-fi going with Making Contact. Making Contact. Deep Rising. Deep Rising. There you go there. Night Angel. So these are all out of print, by the way. Deep Rising, that print? Deep Rising deserves a 4K, right? Stephen Summers, too. So Young Doctors in Love. I always remember that ad reading the papers back in the early 80s. Showtimes. And finally, let's top it off with a good one. Is this Amicus? Yeah. Madhouse. Madhouse. Good old Peter Cushing, Robert Quarry, and Vincent Price. Kind of this was the last AIP Vincent Price. Is that correct? Anyway, that's the used haul of the week. These are all going to go live at 5 p.m. today. If there's any used movies you want to sell us or trade us, get credit. Stack the movies like so. Got to dig the Kino font right, nice and orderly. Send us photos. We'll give you a quote. If you like that quote, mail them in carefully, and we will give you either cash or credit. So that is send the photos to webmail@orbidvd.com. That is webmail@orbidvd.com. So that is the used haul of the week. All right, pre-order. So what for those unfamiliar with this weekly live stream, I will go through what I need to go through, which is new releases, pre-orders, all that good stuff. And then I'm going to go up and answer questions that you are throwing on chat. I might start killing questions. I'm going to stop answering questions about Massacre Video and TerraVision. I don't know when any of that stuff's coming out, so you're on your own. You're on your own. I do know that they pushed the TerraVision product to quarter 1, which is now officially until quarter 1 means the end of March. I think also one of my employees said that TerraVision actually is moving GatorBait to another manufacturing facility to speed up the process. So that's all I have on TerraVision and Massacre Video. We are still waiting on Murder Set Pieces. That's going to be our last TerraVision pre-order. We're not going to move forward with them. We'll still stock their titles, but we're not going to do any more pre-orders for Massacre Video. Like, listen, pre-orders they can get. There's a lot. We put a lot up. It took a couple of weeks, for the holidays, but then these companies are really starting to ramp up what's coming out in the next couple of months here. So I'll start off with Time to Play, the films of Jacques Rosier. Matador, is this a Almodovar Matador. This is an amazing film. I love this film. It's like one of the best. If this is the early one, let me see. I forgot to check. Here it is. Ooh, what's going on here? There we go. Matador. Yep, it is. All right. Sorry about the delay there. Yeah, this is the Almodovar film, Matador, which is great. I love this one. It's my favorite earlier film by him. So check it out if you haven't. It's a ratings as well. Romance in Thin Air. These are all ratings. Confessions of the Police Captain. Confessions to a Police Captain, and then Highway to Hell. It's that new line they have. Putting that in. Razor Blade Smile, Seven. And then from, I think it's officially imprint, Tales from Wild West, Volume 1. And then I believe it's the three films that are Magnificent Seven, the three Magnificent Sevens, right? The Swordsman trilogy, Hail Caesar. What a bizarre Coen. Is it the last Coen Brothers film in the theater? No, the the folk one was after that, right? I can't remember. But anyway, Hail Caesar, The Devil's Advocate, good one there. Outbreak, good one there. And then they are releasing a slew. It's a Shout Factory. All the first, those three are Shout Factory. The following are 4K steelbooks: RoboCop 2, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Piranha, and Little Nicky. Y'all get some Adam Sandler. Now this one was weird because you see the art and people go, wait a minute, I got the limited edition of this. This is Lars von Trier, a collection standard, but it looks cooler than the limited edition. It's probably missing the book, I guess, if that had a book. The Devil's Hand, The Invincible Eight, Cruel Tale of Bushido, and then let's end this part of it with Predator's Badlands, which I'm about ready to do my top 10 of last year. I wanted to see that. I just haven't had a chance to see that yet. Lots of pre-orders on the website. Just get on the pre-orders, and we are adding stuff. Like I said, they are announcing and announcing and announcing right now. So as soon as we get the announcements and we get the information we need, we put it up on the website for a pre-order. All right, new releases. Great. Usually the week or two after New Year's is not the best for new releases, but some good stuff came out this week. We'll start off with Thunderheart 4K, and then I think it's a standard edition of this, the Bring Out the Dead 4K. Cheap Thrills from Arrow. We also have, these are upgrades from Criterion, but it's Yee Yee and Dead Man. These are available now. I'm about ready to go to Scandinavia. I think this is from Sweden and not Norway, but I'm going to Norway in about 2 weeks. But anyway, this is another Christina Lindbergh film, which is Anita, Swedish Infect. Some requests for this one. This one's a great film. This was not a lost, but it was definitely kind of a rental hit. I think, mainly due to the actors involved and the subject matter. But if you've never seen Mr. Frost with Jeff Goldblum, I highly recommend it. And a French 4K came out, so we have the 4K in stock right now. That's going to be sold out. See, Ricochet 4K, the standard edition of Once Upon a Time in America, which I saw that sold out immediately. And then we never thought that the gazillion copies of the Steelbook of Tron Ares would sell out immediately. It did. I think it's now already out of print. I think you might see some trickle in other places, maybe even us still. But we got the standard edition of Tron Ares as well. And finally, Bullet in the Head. Got Bullet in the Head as well, the Shout Factory version of that. Lots of new releases up. Just get on the site. They're receiving more right now. I think it's more restocks, I think, from them. Speaking of restocks, let's talk about restocks. I think we're going to go live with this again tomorrow. Another Tron. This is actually the most popular Tron we have, which is Tron Legacy. We just got in a healthy restock of Tron Legacy. We got in the last remaining copies we could of the UK Boogie Nights Steelbook. Now then, I don't think the US version is out of print. In fact, I expect to see a US version eventually of that. Maybe. I don't know. It's considerably cheaper. So, you can roll the dice and test your luck with the US edition if you can find it out there. I think Groove is popping up on Amazon. But if you have to have this version, we have it. But I don't think we're going to have any more copies after this. This one I've seen online. People think this was out of print already, but this is a standard Arrow UK edition. It's not limited. So anything standard from Arrow, unless they lost the rights to something, does not go out of print. But anyway, we are getting a healthy restock of the good, the bad, and the ugly on Monday. So if you have not signed up for a back in stock notification, please do. Also, I know a lot of you, it's maybe a little bit of OCD brain. You feel the need to order all three of those movies at once. Don't do that. We have the first two in stock right now, as far as I know. I would suggest if you want all three, get the first two now, and then when the good, bad, and the ugly comes back in, um, get that one on Monday. I think, the channels of distribution, holiday sales, all this stuff comes into play about making shortages. We always run out of Arrow titles during Christmas, and then people think this stuff's out of print. They're not out of print. Lighthouse, Old Boy, what else? Donnie Darko, all this stuff just sells out because it's popular. So the Eastwood trilogy is probably the most popular thing we ever had by them, Arrow. So they'll sell out. They might be out for a couple weeks, but I'm thinking as the year goes on, we'll always have this in stock. Our goal is to always have the Eastwood trilogy in stock and lots of copies of it because I see y'all ordering all three at once. You want it's in the brain there. Then finally, for restocks, we are getting probably our last shipment of Possession. The limited edition Possession is on the way to us right now. I think it's unfortunately supply does not meet demand on this. So if you've not signed up for a back in stock notification, you're not going to get it. I think even if you signed up for a back in stock notification, you have a 25% chance of getting this set. That's basically how many back in stock notifications we see for that out there. So we'll see what happens with that. That one went fast, right? It's the holidays. What can you say? I'm coming. Well, after talking about Massacre and Terrorvision and stuff like that, let's show you some good news. This title, I think, got delayed twice. I think once over rights, and then maybe the second time over production. But anyway, here it is. We have Dante's Peak. We are going to might go live with this tomorrow. In fact, I think we probably are. So expect to see Dante's Peak live tomorrow if you have not bought it yet. Got it. Thank you, Kino. And then further on the horizon here, this did get delayed a couple of weeks, but we should be seeing one battle after another. The 4K Steelbook, that's the UK version of this. We should be seeing that before too long. I say maybe if it probably would be about 10 days. And then around that same time, and maybe a little bit after, we're going to start seeing the February Arrow titles, the US titles, meaning Excalibur and Westworld and whatnot. So that is it for me. I am going to scroll up and answer some questions here. Hello, everybody. Mega Store. Hey, Mark, glad things are going better with the folks. Yeah, it's like it's an odd thing. I'm 56, about to be 57, so it's I have faced my own mortality out there. If you don't know anything about me, the store actually kind of drove me to have a small stroke about 4 years ago, a TIA stroke, which is it's fine, but I've been taking care of my body for that. And then I had colon cancer surgery about 2 years ago, successful. In fact, I'm ready to go see the doctor for a 2-year visit here. But anyway, you sort of look after your own life, and I think that's what I have one parent that is deep in dementia. He actually got COVID during this time. My mother had a couple strokes. My dad is fully recovered, except for dementia. but I think as you get older, you face your own life, and then restrictions upon it, and then of course what is ultimately the end of your life. So I think that's basically what I'm having to deal with right now. But both parents are doing a lot better. Thank you. Seeing a 4K of Mr. Frost pop up in the new release was a huge surprise. I had no idea it was coming out. Have you seen it? Very creepy movie. Yeah, well, I just talked about it. Yeah, so yeah, definitely psychological, and I don't want to give anything away of Mr. Frost. If you never heard about it, if you I say going blind, going blind. Any word on the new Refused films titles coming in? We paid, and just they are a small operation, so we're just waiting for them to show up. Is there something to the story that Second Sight pulled the Reanimator box for U.S. stores due to Ignite asking them as per a license contract dispute? No. Well, okay. So the only thing that I'm aware of, come on, Drew. Uh, the only thing I'm aware of from Second Sight is that they did not make it available to U.S. customers on their website. I, as a retailer, can buy anything and sell it within reason, of course. So I can buy Second Sight movies and then sell them here in the States. There's no problems there, um, if that's your question. But the only truth that I am aware of is that because Ignite have the rights in the States, ask Second Sight to not, and it could be a legal agreement between the two, to not make it available to U.S. customers on their site. Do you plan on carrying Oscilloscope's Dig 20th anniversary, the Brian Jonestown Massacre documentary? If it's available for us, we'll carry it. We'll see what happens. I know Oscilloscope has website exclusives, so it might only be available on there. Yeah, but that I think it's one of the best music documentaries of all time. And we've seen Brian Jonestown Massacre probably four times. Yeah, four times. We be restocking in the new wave video titles, Rivers Lovers, etc. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Basically, our Australian distributor took half of December off. Other countries do these type of things. I'm reminded daily by somebody that other people take time off. But anyway, it's just catching up, and that's basically it. There's lots of Australian titles that we are waiting on. The biggest one is do not buy flipping prices for Angel's Egg. We are getting a lot of copies of Angel's Egg back in, so do not feel tempted to go to the eBay route on that. Thanks for fixing the banners on the website for Apple devices. Oh yeah, no problem. That was actually he just left Charles. Do you reckon there'll ever be a new stock put out for the Warriors 4K limited edition from Arrow, or is all hope lost there? The limited is gone. We made available actually. Now that being said, I, I buy I bought a couple of new copies over the past year, and I bought a decent amount of used copies. So just keep an eye out, and we'll get stuff in bit by bit. Okay, I answered this. The Angel's Egg, yeah. Please do not buy Angel's Egg for $100. We're going to have it. Oh, good. Okay. TerraVision made a long Facebook post outlining today the status of all the pre-order items. They go title by title and the list expected hand and day for each film. Yeah, I feel that we're probably reaching a point, and this is a good problem, but unfortunately, maybe not good for the smaller companies. There's a limited amount of manufacturing plants in the world. In fact, I think I was told that maybe the only one doing 4K is in Austria or Germany. Is that right? But anyway, if Disney comes around and says, "Hey, I need this many copies of this steelbook made," they're going to fulfill them too. So I think a lot of these smaller runs of titles get bumped and delayed and things like that. That's my theory of mine. I'm not, so I'm not in the manufacturing business, so I can't really give answers completely to that. But yeah, I need to read that post from them. And we love TerraVision. We have a very close relationship with them, um, like on phones and stuff. But anyway, uh, I have no doubt that the gang there at TerraVision will put out a high quality product when it comes out. Hmm, can't answer that. Oh, it's like Arrow has sold out the Wild Style Limited. Let me check that. That's a surprise. Thinking. Do, 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 do. Okay. It looks like okay, so this comment here is it looks like Arrow has sold out the Wild Style chunky boxes in both Blu-ray and 4K. Some more heads up. Sure, this one produced normal Arrow hefty amounts. Yeah, I mean it's a documentary. It's I think an incredible documentary. It's like there's plenty of copies of both. That one I could actually see the Blu-ray, and that's what happened I think with TMNT is the Blu-ray sold out before the 4K did. Sometimes it's the opposite that happens out there. But it looks like to me that our distributor has a very healthy amount of the 4K in stock. I didn't check the Blu-ray. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we're going to see Wild Style for a while. But you're right. In fact, I don't want to give anybody a sky is falling moment here, but their new Saw Scope release, the good one, that's all good, but the Volume 4 one, the one with the Willie Maniac and Super Inframan and stuff, uh, it looks like I'm seeing a fourth of the numbers I was seeing on previous Saw Scope box sets. So it might still take some time, but this Volume 4 is going to sell out faster than the other ones have. In fact, I think three might still be. We have a remaining amount, I believe, of two, and then I think three is still in print. But volume four, the initial numbers I saw, what they had left was a fourth of volume three. So keep that in mind. One other Arrow question: do you think they'll end up putting out a release of the Killer following Hardboiled? Yeah, I would expect to see that announcement on at the end of this month. Honestly, but they do their announcements on the last Friday of the month traditionally. I would expect to see Killer very soon. Got Bull in the Head from you last week. Nice disc, easily best version available. Yep, so far, right? So far, but the Shout Factory versions are great. I'm happy with them. Nice, Tomatera in there. Oop. What are your thoughts about the state of 4K hardware? I'm new to UHD and concerned about how limited the options our players are. Do you know any of the efforts of labels working with player manufacturers? Well, I mean, the only one that is under the same banner is Sony, right? So, uh, I don't know much about the hardware aspect of things. Sony has their own studio. They now have the Alamo Draft House, and they also have 4K players, and they also have the PlayStation 5. So, um, look at Sony's, I guess. I do know like a couple of electronics companies have gotten out of the market. Is it LG that got out? I can't remember. Of course, the benchmark for so many people is the Panasonic model. We stocked a couple of the cheaper model, and it sold well. I'm not hearing, it seems like the 4Ks are growing. So it sounds like I don't think anybody's getting into the market and making, new ones out there, or there's definitely upgrades and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm not an expert on the hardware part. So Vinegar Syndrome and Warner deal. I have to think Devils was number one on their wish list, and more Vinegar Syndrome. There's more Vinegar Syndrome title than the Devils. Dare we even dream? Yeah, a boy can dream, right? So, the Devils is definitely in my top three of all time. My top three kind of just keep flipping back and forth, kind of. But I feel that you know, I think regime changes will can only help the Devils at this point. At this point, you have Netflix wanting, or I thought everyone thought that was a done deal, but then Paramount's trying to do was it a hostile takeover? Say that. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the Devils. Uh, Other people I've talked to in the know and in the business have said previous people running Warner Brothers said they'll never, ever, ever, ever release it. You can take Warner Brothers off, right? I mean, you don't have to put their name on it. I don't know. Mr. Frost sold out. Will there be more on the way? We will order more. Yes. Gambler, Great Silence. Yes and yes. Great Silence will not have a slipcover. We had it in our basket, and I was too slow, I guess. I don't know. This is what kind of irks me a little bit about the buying of Vinegar Syndrome wholesale is I have to wait a couple hours after it goes live, and then I can only get a few amount of copies, and I'm ordering from the same pool as you are, which is fine. That's how Vinegar Syndrome's always done it, and we've been fine with that model. We just missed out on Great Silence. Do you think the Vinegar Syndrome deal with Warner Brothers for their VSR line? They haven't mentioned anything to me. I'll suggest the Devils. I'll do that. There's a few other Warner Brothers titles I'll suggest as well. But yeah, I've asked this once before, but do you think you can bring in all those beautiful BBC Classic Doctor Who Complete Series Blu-rays? The next one is Series 21 coming out in March. Yeah, I'll mention that. Write that down. The issue of the Doctor Who stuff previously is if it came out here in the States as well as the BBC, Warner Brothers imprint, it, it came out in the States the same time as it came out in the UK. That's when Amazon and Walmarts and stuff like that had them at rock bottom prices. So I'll see what's available. I'll do some research and see if it's UK only or US and UK. Very sorry about it, having to deal with dementia and your dad's. I mean, health issues. It's so brutal. Aging is tougher than I ever realized. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're just dealing with aging parents, and then you yourself are aging, right? So, especially my age, I'm almost 57. So yeah, just I feel good, and I just take it day by day. Like I said, I think the one cognitive parent is having a tough time dealing with it, but she'll be fine. Mark, what's going on, brother? Any more possession fat boxes coming? I answered this one earlier. Yeah, it's good. On Monday. Not enough for everybody, but it's a lot. We're getting a lot, but not enough. How's stock looking on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 4K these days? Are you talking about I think the Arrow one's out of print, the limited, and then Vinegar Syndrome's one's still fine. Oh, I could probably still get some limited ones. I'll write that down. Do, 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 do. Any near dark 4K rumors? No. Would you entertain the idea of posting this in podcast form on Apple Podcasts or Spotify? Yeah, we can possibly do that. Any word on physical release of Kill Bill Whole Bloody Affair? I haven't seen anything about that. My guess is there'll be a Lionsgate limited release, their website only thing. Whether we get a chance at it or not, I don't know. Now then, that being said, there's been a few opportunities to pick up Lionsgate in the UK. So, so if they have the rights in the UK as well, which I think they do actually, because like we got Jackie Brown steelbooks from them. Yeah. Stay tuned. Big thank you for your shipping team. I'm OCD about having my 4Ks and Blu-rays in pristine condition. You can always count on receiving them that way from your great team. Thank you very much, and I'll pass that along to them. Need some more Lifeforce big box imprint sets? Yeah, they're on the way. We'll get some more. Are we talking about Old Noir Volume 4? No, no, nothing about that. I think that's still available. Are you asking if it's available? Pretty sure it is. Oh, yeah, we're good there. I don't know what we're talking about. I will say that that there is. It's always funny seeing stuff online. Comments like people like were saying "Good, Bad, and the Ugly" is out of print, and that's not the case. There's once again, it's the holidays messes stuff up, demand and all this stuff, sales channels, distribution channels. Um, but for a while, I think everybody thought that Ragger Japan was out of print. That's not out of print yet either. So we're still getting that restocked. Uh, let's see. We be getting the regular edition of the 4K Once Upon a Time in America. Yeah, we just did. We got that today. It's the standard version, not the sixth. Yeah, we got it, and it sold out immediately. So here's the issue with the anything coming from continental Europe. We love doing it. There's films that we want personally, and the Four Cult limited Once Upon a Time in America set was probably my number two or three release of the year, behind the other Leone films that came out last year from Aaron. I think it's absolutely fabulous. I know some people are having some issues, personal issues with transfers. It looks fine. But anyway, the issue with this is we can't order 200 copies of something. What we get is what we get. And it's a little how we like doing business, of course, is you set up a pre-order, sell the pre-order, get enough to cover that pre-order, and then go live with remaining copies on the website, and then keep those copies in stock as long as we can. But that model of how we do business is not there for these titles. I'm talking about German releases, French releases, and Italian releases. And I'm so happy we found a contact over there. And I'm not criticizing how they do business in any way, shape, or form, but we get it in a box. It's got the stuff we want. We make it live. It's never enough. It's never enough. And then we get restocked again. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. It could be a month. It's a little disjointed, I guess. It's not like how we would personally like to do things, but it's how things are done. So we just have to roll with it. You have to roll with it, I guess. But I want to basically just make one box full of Hellraiser steelbooks, the 2022 Hellraiser, and I want a box of nothing but Once Upon a Time in America. And then the turbine, right? Frighteners. I want that in a box by itself. And whether that can happen, we're going to try to make that happen because we want to meet the need. We want everybody to be happy and everybody to be able to buy these things because these are great. Mr. Frost, the world needs to discover Mr. Frost. And this is the only version of this out there. We want to share it with everybody. So it it's just what we do, and we just roll with it. But I'm hoping to get on some sort of schedule where we get a decent amount of copies of these things. But hasn't happened yet. I believe it's been confirmed the PlayStation 6 will have a disk drive too, so that should give some time. Yeah, I think that they, will keep doing drive at least for the next generation, and it's probably it for after that. Ooh, let's see. Magnitar, haven't heard of them. It's getting to the 4K player market with some high-end players. Great. Give me it's 1990 for Vinegar Syndrome, Warner Brothers deal. Yeah, well, they mentioned TV movies, right? So I think that's kind of maybe the vibe they're going with there. If you ever find out what caused the Shout Factory hard boiled fiasco, do we know when they produce less than they initially expected, or they send all their inventory to one of the big retailers? I'd say all the above. I think me and Jesse are maybe theorizing that they made more. We actually were solicited weeks later, months later, with the remaining copies that we were missing hundreds. We were short of hundreds of copies, and then about 2.5 months later, they were offered to us. The amount of copies that we had missed, and we decided not to go with all those. Of course, the ones we went with sold out in a day. I think that you're still going to see the Shout Factory hard boiled pop up on Groove and probably Walmart or Amazon or anything like that. And we could even get more copies in the future ourselves. A lot of this major studio, and I'm considering Shout a major at this point. Uh, a lot of this product, they are going to fill the need of these larger merchants than us. However, that being said, I don't think that we have been shorted from any of these companies if you count the titles we get in after street date. So a good example is Sony. We don't make Sony steelbooks available in the US versions available for pre-order because there's no guarantee we're going to get them on street date. If we place an order, we have gotten every single copy eventually of Sony steelbooks. We've gotten every single copy of Warner Brothers steelbooks, with the exception of Sinners. I think that one was maybe more of an exception because it was a surprise for a lot of people. But everything else from all these companies have come in, just not on street date. If you were patient, the hundreds and hundreds of people that we had to refund for hard boiled would have gotten hard boiled. It would have been 2.5 months later, but we weren't going to do that. We're going to refund you. So I don't know. It's just part of business. I will. That being said, we had discussions about this not making Shout Factory titles available for pre-order at all. But everything that's coming in since then has been fine. Uh, the only exception I will see coming up down the pike would be what their decision will be about Day of the Dead. Uh, Day of the Dead, I could see us being shorted again. So we need to approach that cautiously, and I'm hoping we can talk to every party involved because you have Shout Factory, you have SDS, and then you have our distributor. So there's three people or three entities we need to talk to try to short copies of these things in the near future. So we'll see. Any idea when Hellraiser 2022 4K is coming back? I answered that. We just have to wait until the box is filled up, basically. When are more Vinegar Syndrome retail releases coming? That seems very slow after a big splash announcement with the Keep. Yeah, I don't know if that's something they're going to plan on doing twice a year because they time that with their big sale weekends. So I need to talk to Justin about that and see what their plans are. I was happy with it. I was very happy with it. Honestly, we sold more than I thought we would. Whether that number is makes them happy, we'll see. Yeah, possibly. Just got a region free player, so I've been rating Orbit's region B section. Yeah, It's funny because we people come in the store and we talk them into a region free player because they see all these films in our sections and they go, I can't get this, I can't get this. And like, well, you buy this, you can. And I would use the excuse for years of like going, well, a lot of these titles are cheaper, the imports. You'll save money buying the imported versions if you bought a region free player. Technically true, but the opposite has happened. You'll spend more money buying all these region B titles after after buying a region free player. So it's an addiction. I know. So it keeps popping. We talked the limited TCM2, yeah, from Arrow. So basically, I mentioned this earlier. We always run. Everybody always runs out of Arrow 4Ks because around the holidays because it's Arrow and it's 4K. You get a player for Christmas, or you're buying a player for Christmas, and Arrow is always on the top of the list of stuff to pick up. Now and No Name trilogy, Donnie Darko, Lifeforce now, things like that. This stuff always sells out, and it takes a few weeks to restock. So TCM2 will be restocked standard, and I'm going to try and pick up some limited editions here, but yeah, it's just the way the market works around the holidays. Do you think I should move fast on Severance Devil's Reign, or can I wait a bit? I I can't see that really being too crazy. We have the Great Silence limited edition in stock. No, we were only able to get the standard. I have loaded it up in my basket. And this is my favorite movies, by the way. It's a top 10 film for me. So I'm a little bummed myself. But standards are coming, but not the limiteds. So I'll restock for Evil Dead 2. Do you think the Evil Dead 1 4K will make it to sites 2 sometime? I can't say anything about Evil Dead 1 yet. Sorry to miss this earlier. You're planning on more of the deluxe Once Upon a Time in America for cold editions. As long as they keep making them, we'll keep restocking them. Like I said, it's just the vessel of getting these to us is different than we're used to. So it's basically our contact fills up a box of stuff, ships it to us, rinse and repeat. We want it to be daily. It's only a couple times a month, honestly. So I'm trying to get some New Year's resolutions done and really pressed for getting more copies of these awesome German, French, and Italian films in here. And that's Swedish. Here I got World War Volume 4, great. Oop. But that Matador release from Radiance you mentioned, are you aware of Radiance doing any more motive art down the road? That'd be great. I think this is a good first step. I can see that happening. I see the Arrow's Solar House 5, and things at 4K, at least a reissue, maybe a Kino with the Universal deals. Yeah, it's possible. I think I just added a used Slaughterhouse 5 from Arrow, and the price has jumped up quite a bit. So regarding the Keep retailer exclusive, spoke to Justin about it a bit before the release. He said he had a lot of ideas depending on how it sold. Mentioned VSAs and partner label options. Great, yeah. I'm not happy to help. And I've been giving some suggestions here and there too. I mean, he wants our feedback as well. Any chance you'll be getting the new "Don't Be Afraid of the Dark" and Ghost Keeper from Vinegar Syndrome? Yes, I just placed that order yesterday. We'd be selling the Cape Light Pictures 4K Media Book and Double Impact. We will put that one down. We like Cape Light a lot. I didn't realize you guys just started online orders in 2020, if I heard that right on a recent stream. Yeah, I'm a bit of an Orbit noob. We ever give a brief history of the store sometimes? Of course, yeah. Brief histories. In fact, I opened in 2003 as a video rental store. I'm a video rental store. I still consider, I still identify as a video store. Let's put it that way. And we stopped renting movies actually in 2021 because we saw the potential of online. Yeah, so basically around 2010-ish, maybe eight, I always brought stuff in for sale, stuff I wanted, like the Sinful Dwarf and things like that. But I saw that the video rental business maybe was not the most lucrative thing to stay in. It did actually pretty well for us. But anyway, I started bringing in more titles for sale, including imports and things like that. So our more than half our store actually was new movies for sale in addition to our video rental part. And the COVID hit. It's like, well, fuck. I got a store full of shit. And I got a website I don't use. Let me just throw this crap on here, see what happens. And that's basically what happened. And thank you. Honestly, I prefer the look of the VSR Keep. I totally agree. Yeah, I like that cover a lot better. Can you take pre-orders for Ignite titles or wait till they're after they're released? I think, didn't we do a quick one? We might have done a quick one. I think that's something that we maybe ordered first and then we did a quick one. Look into that. Probably would close the pre-order. I think that's what happened. I think we said, okay, we're gonna order this much, and then we did a pre-order for it, then we shut it down once we hit the amount of copies we needed to do. All right, I'm sorry I had to ban this question. Will you be getting some of the limited Great Silence 4K from Vinegar Syndrome? No. We got standards. We have standards, and we're getting the standard version of Great Silence. I'm going to try conventions that Vinegar Syndrome is at, personally. We'll see. All right, I'm caught up here. Any last questions? My first Orbit order was summer 21. I think that's the Arrow True Romance. Yeah, they just made some available again of that. But yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for sharing some of your store background. Love it. I became an instant fan after my first order a while back. Really appreciate you guys and what you do. Thank you so much. Are you getting any more Frighteners 4K? Yes, the order has been placed. We just have to wait for the box. The box. Only one box coming at a time. Yeah. Limited Crash. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. One battle, regular and steelbook maybe next week. That got pushed back a couple weeks. So with the official street date, I think it's the 26th. We should be shipping out our pre-orders before that. All right. Thanks, Mark. Keep on keeping on. Oh yeah, that's all I can do, baby. Just keep on keeping on. All right, I'm gonna end this. Getting noisy out here. It's a Friday. Got things to do. Anyway, to recap, there are possessions on the way. Limited possessions, probably Monday. Probably looking at tomorrow for this. Yes, we have ordered more. Once Upon a Time in America, Hellraiser 2022, Frighteners. It's in a chokehold. We just have to wait for the boxes to fill up, and then we get them. Great Silence, no slip, no slip. All right. Have a great weekend. Enjoy we got warm weather here. And if you have any suggestions for Tromsø, Norway, let me know. They'll be there in 2 weeks. Take care.